I'm Reed Becker here with the Cape Cod Baseball League, and today we are starting a new series with the Cape Cod League where we're catching up with former Cape Cod players uh, to see what they're up to and catch up with them. So today we're starting off with former Cotuit Kettleer Harrison Cohen. Harrison now in the Yankees affiliate system with the Hudson Valley Renegades. So first off, Harrison, just how has the transition been to the minors for you coming from Cape Cod?
It's been challenging, but it's been great. You know, the nice thing about being in the Cape for as long as I was, it kind of prepared me for it. So I can definitely, say that I was prepared to go into it, but it's everything I had hoped it would be, and I'm loving every second of it.
So when you say it helped you prepare, in what way did it do that? And like, what would you say the similarities and differences are from playing in the Cape Cod League to minor league baseball?
I would definitely say the similarities in terms of, ability and who you're playing against and kind of the guys you play with. I mean, you're all kind of, you come from similar backgrounds in terms of how you got there, but everybody is so different. So it makes it kind of similar to how you kind of come in with, one team and you kind of all mesh together as one, like by the end of the summer. And obviously it's a little different. And the stakes are obviously much different versus the summer league, but I think the foundation of it is pretty similar.
And what would you say with in terms of being in minor league baseball, in the terms of the grind of day to day? I remember, I think it was last season, Mike Roberts, your manager in Cotuit, was talking about uh, it's basically literally like the version of minor league baseball where you're going on bus rides from place to place, similar in minor league baseball. How is that similarity or at all?
Um, it's similar. I think the overall feel of kind of the traveling in the Cape, it's not the same. I don't think because it's much shorter.
Mhm.
But that varies, I think, and I can't really speak for other organizations, but the travel is fine. Like the travel is um pretty routine. It's pretty standard, I'd say. I mean, we have 6 game series, so typically, if you have a bus ride, it'll be either on your travel day, or if it's not that long of a ride, you might just go the same day as the first game of the series. So in terms of, I guess, the travel from how it was in Cotuit, it's definitely different. It feels a little bit more like college, I would say, in terms of obviously like the time frame and scheduling. Much longer bus rides, obviously.
And off of that as well, then give us a behind the scenes feel of what is it like on a game day getting ready in minor league baseball?
Um, you're there for a fair bit of time. You have to be at the park at a certain time. Whether you're up that day, speaking from a pitcher standpoint, or down. Typically you're there around the same time every single day, and then in preparation, obviously offensive guys are there to hit or get prepped on who they're facing, and just a lot of different details that go into it. But it's a lot of time at the field, but it's really enjoyable.
Now let's go back to when you first signed with the Yankees. Walk me through because you had grown up a Yankees fan on Long Island. What was your first emotions at that time when you got the call from the Yankees?
Oh, it's hard to put into words. I mean, it was elation. Um it was such a special moment. Um and I was able to experience it with my girlfriend, with my family, my parent. I was with my aunt and uncle in Fire Island, Long Island, and just spending the day there. And it happened, and my parents came out and everything. So it was special. It's a moment I'll never forget. None of us will. It was just uh, extremely emotional. It was extremely emotional. Um, and just very rewarding. It was a very rewarding feeling. Um, and yeah, it's hard to fully describe what was kind of happening in my headspace around that time. It felt so surreal, but the reaction from my parents and me and all being together was something. It's something to cherish for me for the rest of my life.
Who was the one that, when you got the call, who was it that you were speaking to? Like, who was the one that reached out?
I was speaking to one of the scouting directors.
And now with the Yankees as well, then you started out, if I'm correct, with the Tampa Tarpons, and then moved up to the high A this season during the year with Hudson Valley. Uh,
Yes.
just with that, how was that experience for you being notified moving up your first season down with the Yankees to the high
It
upper?
was yeah, no, it was definitely an interesting experience. I started the year with the Tarpons um I had a great time kind of learning the ropes. And I mean it was short, but I thought I learned a lot. And then when I found out I was moving up, I mean it was very exciting. It was very very quick, but like in terms of the turnaround to get from Florida to New York, and um, it was definitely a little bit hectic, but it was very exciting to go through.
And now going back to again, just when you signed with the Yankees, signing as an undrafted free agent. So obviously, I mean, I would think, lots of ups and downs. What would you say as advice to the players currently now in Cape Cod that are possibly trying to get to where you are now? What would be advice?
Um, I would say honestly, biggest advice is just you know don't give up. You know, this game's hard. We all come from very similar headspace in terms of where we want to go with this game, and it'll definitely humble you very quickly. But it's very important to not lose sight of the end goal. And um, there's going to be some, I get what is it? What am I looking for? It's normal to face adversity, and it's part of the game. It's part of development, and you got to be able to move forward and move past it as best as you can. So I think one of the biggest piece of advice that I ever have received was take it one day at a time. I had I would fall into the trap of thinking months ahead and thinking what it was going to be like in the future, but you only can control the now, and it's the most important thing I think for myself is to just be aware of that and realize that I control what I can control only what's going on right now. I can control my effort. I can control what I do today and how I lead into tomorrow. I can't control anything else, and I just have to, you just put your head down and you just get to work.
How big of an influence was Mike Roberts for you in Cotuit?
Extreme.
In what way?
He is Mike Roberts is one of the most influential people I've ever met in my life. Um, he has had such an impact on both who I am as a person and who I am as a player, and I owe a lot to him. Um, I owe a lot to him. Sorry, did I cut out there?
Is it, no, you're fine. Was there one specific, I guess, moment or something that sticks out to you that makes you think that way?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few. I would say one of the key moments I think was in 2021. I came in off of a mediocre season, and I came in as a starter, and I went through two starts, and both starts didn't really go well. And after the second start, Mike Roberts sat me down and said, "Hey, you're not really that good right now, so we gotta work." And we did. And so I ended up becoming a reliever for the remainder of that summer. But the influence and the lessons that I learned from being with him all the time and throwing and learning how to use my body better, yet learning how to learning how to control myself better on the mound and just be free was like the start of a very special relationship between the two of us. And it carried over into 22 when he and I worked still the exact same. Even if it was different results and I was back as a starter, I never forgot what it felt like in 21 to work with him the way we did, and I wanted to carry that over even in a more successful summer.
What's your favorite memory you would say from playing in Cape Cod?
It's hard because it's hard to narrow it down because you have, for me, 2 full summers and the end of 19. And there are so many memories that I made from the full summers, but the easiest answer I can give is just being able to the first ever experience I have of Cape Cod was the end of 2019. And I was able to be a part of a championship. And I would say that that feeling and that experience, even though it was not even 2 weeks long, felt like an entire full summer in 2 weeks or in however long, in 10 days. And
What
that's
made
the
it
best.
feel like that?
Huh?
What was it that made it in those 2 weeks that made you feel like you were there basically the whole summer? What was?
Those 2 weeks, I had no idea what to expect. I came up not having any idea what was gonna happen, how it was gonna work. I was coming off of a good summer in the Hamptons League, and I didn't know where my place was gonna be, and I didn't know how I was gonna be received as the guy coming in for the playoffs. And it turned out there were a guys just like me that were um, few guys just like me that came up at the very end, and guys made us feel like we had been there, for the whole summer. And from that, I would definitely say um, the ability for the team to welcome myself as they did made it seem like I was there for a lot longer. The relationships that I built from that team, even though they were so short, it was as if I knew them for much longer.
And now, lastly, what would you say your experience was off the field in Cape Cod, just
Oh,
being in Cape Cod for the summer?
I loved my time there. Um, I loved my time throughout Cape Cod. My host families were great. I got to spend a lot of time with my girlfriend. My parents were able to come up a bunch and spend time up there. So it's all happy memories. I mean, there's no negatives. I have no negative things to say about my time up there. I mean, it was the best summers of my life, and they will always hold a special place.
And what will you miss most about Cape Cod? Lastly, my last one.
I'll miss playing for Coach Roberts. Um, he is still a huge part of my off the field. I speak with him very, very frequently, but playing for him a special was a special thing for me. I mean, I've been able to appreciate it now that it's done, but it's something that I would definitely say to anybody listening who is going to play for Cotuit, wants to play for Cotuit. There's nobody better.
Well, Harrison, we thank you so much for your time today. That's Harrison Cohen, former Cotuit Kettleer. I'm Reed Becker with the Cape Cod Baseball League, and thank you for listening, and stay tuned for more coming down the line.